Welcome along to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
This is where we basically take some source material, could be articles, research, anything really, and we just dig into it.
Yeah, pull out the key bits, the stuff you really need to know.
Think of it like a shortcut, helping you get up to speed quickly. And, hey, if you like getting straight to the point on rugby matters, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession wherever you get your podcasts.
Absolutely. We cut through the noise.
So, today's topic, it's a big one, always gets people talking, Springbok rugby.
Always.
And our source is an article from Planet Rugby. The headline is, Rassie Erasmus names 54-man Springbok squad with 9 uncapped stars.
Right, that landed recently. So our mission today, our deep dive, is to really unpack this squad announcement.
What's the makeup? What's it telling us about, plans for this season and maybe even looking further ahead?
Exactly. What are the key things for you, the listener, to take away from this news?
Okay, let's dive in. First off, this is Rassie's first official squad of the year, right?
That's right. Confirmed by SA Rugby on Thursday, June 5th.
But the number, wow. It's not just a small training group.
No, not at all. 54 players. That's huge.
Yeah, massive. Remember the World Cup squad was 33. This is way beyond that.
It really casts the net wide, doesn't it? Shows they're looking at a very broad base.
The article breaks it down to 30 forwards, 24 backs.
30 forwards. That leans slightly that way, which maybe isn't a huge surprise for the Bolds.
Tradition, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. But it definitely signals intense competition, especially up front and in the loose forwards. They're clearly exploring all the options there.
But it's not all new faces. The source makes a point of saying 31 players are from the World Cup winning squad.
Which is vital. You need that core, that experience, that winning mentality.
So continuity is definitely there. They aren't just starting fresh.
No, that backbone is crucial. But, like the headline screams, this is also very much about looking forward.
Right, and this is where it gets really interesting, I think. The 9 uncapped players.
9. That's a pretty significant number to bring in all at once.
It feels like a clear signal, doesn't it? Refreshing the pool.
Definitely an intent there. The article gives us the names. Marnus van der Merwe, Neethling Fouche, Asinathi Natlapanya, Cobus Wise, Renzo Duplessis, Vincent Chituka, Warno Augustus, Ethan Hooker, and Nitokoza Makaza.
Some of those will be familiar to URC fans, maybe less so to others. And there are some interesting stories in there. Makaza, for instance.
Yeah, the article points out he starred for Ikes in the Varsity Cup.
From Varsity Cup straight into the Boak setup. That's quite a leap.
It's a fantastic story, and it shows they're looking everywhere, right? Not just the established pro ranks. If the talent's there.
It says a lot about the depth of the system, I suppose.
It really does. And then you've got others who've been, on the fringes.
Like Fouche and Hooker. The article says they were in the training squad last year.
Exactly. So they had a sniff. They know the environment a bit. Now they're fully in this expanded group.
And Chituka and Augustus. They were involved even earlier. Back in 2020.
Yeah, the green and gold squads, according to the source. So their journey back shows persistence, doesn't it? Strong recent form paying off.
So it's not just random picks. It's guys who've been on the radar or pushing hard.
Right. Some needed more development, perhaps, and now they're getting the nod.
Okay, logistics. A squad this big. Getting them all together must be tricky.
The article mentions a staggered approach.
Which makes total sense.
Yeah, you can't just click your fingers. Players are still busy with their clubs.
Right. Playoffs are still going on. The article mentions the URC.
Bulls, Sharks, Leinster still in it.
And the Premiership semis over in England. Bath, Leicester, Sale. They've all got bucks.
Exactly. So those guys can only join once their club duties are done.
So the plan is the available guys meet up when?
Sunday, June 8th in Johannesburg. On-field prep starts Monday.
And the others just trickle in afterwards.
Pretty much. As their teams finish up, it's practical, but means the first week or so won't have the full group.
Speaking of who's not there, the article also lists players out with injury.
Yeah, that's always part of the picture.
Franza Mellers, Elrie Lou, Ben Jason Dixon, Dion Forey, Trevor Nyakane.
Oof. That's some significant names, especially in the front row and back row. Mallard, Nyakane, Lou, Dixon, and Forey, who was, so key last year.
Their absence really underlines why you need this kind of depth, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It creates opportunities for others straight away. tests that depth immediately.
So what's the thinking from Rassie on this whole big squad approach?
Right.
Does the article give us clues?
It does. It sounds like he was happy with the alignment camps they held earlier.
Okay, so those help shape this.
Seems so. And he sounds genuinely excited about the talent available. He specifically mentions the benefit of having more numbers for training.
Right, makes sense. Better sessions, more realistic opposition.
Exactly. More productive. But also, and this seems key, the developmental side.
Letting the young guys learn from the champions.
Precisely. The article quotes him on that, bode well for the younger players to learn from the senior players, many of whom are Rugby World Cup champions.
That's got to be huge for a young player coming in, just being in that environment.
It's invaluable, isn't it? Seeing how the best operate day to day. He seems proud, the source suggests, to give them that chance, that exposure to international standards.
Speeding up their development.
That's the idea. And it's not totally new, this big squad thing.
Oh.
The article links it back to 2024. They used about 50 players then, too.
Right, I remember that. It was about managing workload.
Yeah, player load, which is crucial now, but also explicitly about building towards the 2027 World Cup.
So this 54-man squad is like doubling down on that long-term plan.
Looks that way. A continuation, maybe even an intensification, shows how seriously they're taking succession planning years out from Australia. Just a reminder, too, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the Springbok strategy, hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession.
Good call. So Rassie's hoping these youngsters learn, but also push for spots.
Yeah, stake their claim. He uses the phrase challenging yet exciting season.
Suggests he expects tough games, but also wants to see who steps up.
And the fixtures mentioned certainly look like they'll provide tests.
What have we got confirmed? Home games, right?
Yeah, the initial home block, kicking off against the Barbarians.
The Bob Boss.
Yeah.
Always fun. It's June 28th, Saturday in Cape Town for the Qatar Airways Cup.
Should be a good opener. Then it's Italy, back-to-back.
Okay, where are those?
First test is Friday, July 5th in Pretoria. Second one, Friday, July 12th, down in Gibraltar.
Italy can be tricky opponents.
Definitely. Then they round off this block against Georgia.
Nelspruit, Friday, July 19th. Georgia means a big forward battle, usually.
A different kind of challenge, exactly. Good mix of games to test combinations and maybe blood some of those new guys.
And that number, 54 players. The article really hammers that home as proof of the depth they're building.
It's not just talk, is it? Naming that many shows, they are actively looking at a huge pool.
You see it when you look in the full list in the article.
Yeah.
The sheer number of forwards and backs named.
It's extensive. They're really casting the net wide, looking for contributors now, but maybe more importantly, guys who can form that core for 2027.
The article also touched briefly on the winners and losers discussion that always happens.
Yeah, inevitable with any selection. It mentioned Evan Roos specifically as someone notable who's still on the outside looking in, despite this huge squad.
Right, shows how competitive it is, even with 54 spots. Tough calls are still being made.
Incredible depth in South African rugby right now.
So if you pull all these threads together, the big squad, the uncapped players, the focus on development alongside experience, the logistics, the fixtures, Rassie's comments, what's the main message here?
I think it's a really clear signal of balancing acts. Winning now, yes, but with a massive focus on building methodically towards defending the World Cup in 2027.
It's not just about this season. It's a foundational step for Australia 27.
Absolutely. And giving these new guys opportunities alongside the World Cup winners, that blend is often the key to long-term success, isn't it?
Yeah, injecting new energy while keeping that experienced core. It's going to be fascinating to watch unfold.
Definitely a dynamic period ahead.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaway is this 54-man squad shows the Springboks are serious about managing players, bringing through talent, and building for 2027, all while tackling a tough season ahead. Those 9 uncapped players are the real headline for the future focus.
Sets the stage nicely. Lots of competition for places, potential new stars emerging.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. Something to mull over. With these 9 uncapped players getting their chance in this huge squad and some tough games coming up, which one of those 9 do you think has the best shot at making a real impact this season? Who could really stake a claim?
Ooh, good question. You could make a case for a few of them based on position or recent form. For the full list of all 54 names and more context, definitely check out that original Planet Rugby article we've been digging into.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this Rugby Obsession deep dive into the Springbok squad. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one.
We look forward to you listening to our next deep dive into more fascinating source material.